Good morning. This meeting of the Blair County Board of Commissioners is called to order. We'll begin with a moment of silent reflection, after which we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
With allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Nicole, is anyone joining us remotely today?
We do have one participant joining remotely. If they could state their name for the record, that'd be amazing.
Helen Schmidt.
Thank you. Good morning, Helen. And that is roll, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Under item 5 on the agenda, you'll see the schedule of upcoming meetings. Next item is 6 for approval of the minutes, the draft minutes from the September 26th Board of Commissioners meeting. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
Commissioner Webster, I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
They are approved, and we'll open the meeting at this time to any public comment.
I do need to make a change to the meeting, and I'm sorry I didn't catch this earlier. The airport is going to be Wednesday at 4. They've changed their public meeting to be the second Wednesday
So
at
that's
4 o'clock.
Wednesday the 11th?
We did learn that in his budget meeting, yes.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
All right, we'll proceed then to Commissioner comments. Commissioner Webster.
Thank you. I just would mention that the attack on Israel by Hamas has been an atrocious event, and I ask that we all pray for the people and the government of Israel and for a quick resolution to this, to create some more, hopefully to eliminate this unconscionable behavior. Thank you.
Commissioner Burke.
Nothing for me, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to use my comment time kind of for a lead-in. As you know, over the time, many of you are aware that I've talked about my concerns about the housing stock in Blair County. Our housing stock is very old, even by Pennsylvania standards. We have many homes which are in need of significant repairs and improvements, but in many cases, the homeowners just are not in a financial position to be able to afford that. And the state has created a whole home repair program to help low and moderate income homeowners with repairs. And we've asked Trina Illig, our Community Development Grants Coordinator, to come this morning and just make a little bit of a presentation on the whole home repairs program and where we stand on it, because there seems to be a good deal of interest in it.
There definitely has been, yes. Good morning. The county received, like I said, as Bruce indicated, the whole home repair program was put into the gears of the state legislature. They allocated funding from their COVID money to all 67 counties. I believe 2 did opt out of receiving funds. The administrator will be DCED. They created some guidelines and some general guidelines, those types of things, on how the whole home repair program was to roll out. The funds themselves, the use of the funds are supposed to be to address habitability and safety issues, provide measures to improve energy and water efficiency, and make units accessible to individuals with disabilities. Currently, right now, we had 121 inquiries for these funds, and we have 92 applications as of Friday. 49 of those applications are from the city, which is converts to about 53% of them. 40 applicants indicated they were 62 years or older. Right now, where we're at is we're actually starting to kind of process those applications. We've already referred 4 applications just because we have no wait list on our regular rehab. We've pulled 4 out and have moved them into our CDBG rehab funded programs, or home programs even. 9 units we identified. Now, the whole home doesn't require us to meet any housing rehab standards or lead-based paint requirements. However, because we have a lead hazard program as well here in the county, we moved 9 units from the whole home right now and are processing them through lead hazard just because we identified children under the age of 6, and those units were built prior to 1978. So we are moving those through the lead hazard program currently. With these funds, there's also a requirement that we establish a workforce development program. We have allocated $100,000 to that currently in our budget. We don't have a proposed plan. However, our plan is to do a request for proposals and see what we get. Those requirements that could be, they're very broad. We must invest in workforce development that will connect trainees to jobs through committed employer partnerships related to improving the habitability and performance of homes, including cash stipends, trainee programs, anything that, again, we wouldn't be able to invest in a nursing program per se, but they would have to be somehow connected to the housing development, housing rehab industry. So that's where we're at. We're working on that as well, the request for proposals for those. We're also working with an agreement, a cooperative agreement with the City of Altoona to get these funds out and hit the ground. Like I said, there was 49 applications from the city. We've been in contact with the City of Altoona to see if they're willing to partner with us, cooperate with us, and actually process some of those applications there in the city. Again, they have a rehab program the same as ours. They're funded through the same program funds. It just makes common sense to partner with them to make sure that we hit the ground and process as many applications as we could. We don't typically go, our program doesn't typically go into the city, so they're more in tune to see what the needs were and are within the city. We have to be a single point of entry for the applications. We've collected those applications, and I am asking today, before I leave here, to kind of pause the intake of those applications, at least temporarily, to try to process the 92 applications that we do have. Secondly, the DCD has to approve those cooperative agreements. There's a second cooperative agreement that we're working with the Center for Independent Living. We've discussed with them, since we're required to help make units accessible, we've had at least, I think, about 10 applications that are requesting just accessibility issues. The Center for Independent Living has an occupational therapist that will determine what those needs, what the needs, they're requesting one thing. We want to make sure that we're addressing everything that their needs at the time. We currently, as I said, just for everybody's information, our allocation was $1,131,362, and 4% of that, about $45,250 is reserved for our administration of the funds.
You want to talk about what the maximum amount?
Right. So what we've got, obviously, with 92 applications, we've talked internally. The program itself allows us to go up to $50,000. We're going to reduce that down to $25,000 here in Blair County. We're not the only county in the state that's doing that, obviously. And then it also allows us to do rental rehab. We only had 2 inquiries for rental rehab for small, and it is limited to small landlords. So internally, we've discussed too that it will be we're going to concentrate on our owner-occupied rehab. So, units, homeowners have to be below our 80% of our, of Blair County's annual median income. I don't think we're gonna have any issues meaning that. We did have one that was over that we did try to process, but I think that's gonna be very, very small population of our applications.
We talked two other just issues that maybe people would like to be aware of. We
Mhm.
talk about the need for insurance and being current on taxes.
Correct. So in our current rehab program, again, we want to make it as, we don't want to make any barriers to them, but I think we thought that these were very minimum requirements, because we do require them in our other rehab programs. We do check taxes. Taxes can no longer, can't be delinquent. They can't be on the tax collection system, and they must own their home. We do that. We do do a title search and make sure that the ownership is in the title. The title is in the applicant's name. Those things.
This is a great program. Questions from the board? Or?
I know it's kind of very brief, but we're in CDBG hot season, so I've been busy with that. So, but we are we do have the applications. If we can pause them at least, there has been some discussion kind of at DCED to maybe at some point make another allocation of funds, but that's not definitely written in any.
This is very similar to what we did on ERAP when we also
Correct.
did a pause.
Correct. We
Because
just
of
do
the
a
fact that
pause.
we had a lot of applications
Right.
to go
Right,
through.
we are getting, like I said, I know some of our representatives are getting kind of, questions, what's going on, those types of things. So, one of the big, Dauphin County just opened theirs up, so we are by no means behind on anything. We have been taking applications, and like I said, I think it's time, we have been trying to process them as well, move them through the programs that we already have, and I think the lead hazard program for those 9 units is appropriate, because they said we have those funds there. So we'll be able to address those lead hazards and then bring them back in if needed.
We appreciate that's where your expertise on so many of these programs and being able to maximize the efficient use of this money is so helpful. So we thank you for that and what you've done on that. Another question slips my mind currently. But at any rate, do you have, I know what I was going to say, the expiration date, the program, the expiration
Yes.
date for us to use the
Same
funds
as
is-
all other ARPA funds, these are ARPA funded. So we have to have the funds committed by December 31st of 2024. And we have to have them expended no later than December 31st, 2026. So we'll have 3 years to do the rehab.
And how long did you want to put a time limit on the pause in applications? Or again, that's I look at that as being chiefly an administrative matter in terms of doing that in the time period.
Right, I think right now, at least temporarily, we pause it just to see where we can move applicants through our other programs. And like I said, there has been some chatter and maybe some additional funds that get funded through. It is actually in the state's budget to fund additional monies for the whole home, so that would be very welcomed, just because, again, as I previously indicated to you guys, prior to these 94, in addition to these 92 applications, I probably already have 100 applications sitting up there for our rehab program.
Questions, thoughts, comments?
Thank you for the information. Obviously, this would be very helpful.
Yes.
There's so many places that we see that on the outside need repairs. I can just imagine what the insides are like too.
It is that time of year and we get a lot of requests. Right now, we're flooded with, everybody needs a roof right now. And it's just not going to happen. Even if I had the money, I mean,
And
the workforce is just not.
Not unlike our weatherization program, a lot of times in order to weather, and we have other repairs that need to be done first, and things kind of need to
Correct.
go in that kind of logical order, and
And that's a good point. So we are working with Blair County Community Actions Weatherization Program. So we are cross-referencing anybody that is on any deferral list. We've been trying to work with them and get them in the whole home repair program, as well as the code violators there in the city of Altoona. So we're trying to prioritize a little bit, so the most needy kind of rise to the top. But yeah, we are working with Blair Community Action with their weatherization program. They've been very helpful.
is there consensus here with the board that we allow social service and Trina here to do a pause on the application?
Yes, I'm in agreement.
You know, if you want to say, maybe that's something we say we do a 60-day pause, and perhaps you come back to us so that we have some. I know it'll probably take you at least that long, or maybe you should have made that longer, but if you need an extension on that, then.
Right. We have made contact with some of them, but we're gonna, definitely contact everybody by the end of the month and tell them what's the process, that we got their applications, these are gonna be the priorities, those types of things. And we'll pause, that we're pausing it.
Trina, thank you.
All righty. I'm always next door if anybody has any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Nicole, can you take us through the consent agenda, please?
Today's consent agenda is resolution number 486. It's the payment of 2 warrant lists as outlined in your agenda in item A. That does include payments to UPMC Altoona in the total amount of $555, and Thomas and Chandra Jandora in the amount of $1,500. It's the ratification of 8 warrant lists as outlined in item B. It's the ratification of total payroll for the check dated 10/6/23 in the total amount of $848,596.44. It's budget transfers in item D and E. It's a request to revise a letter of support to the PA Department of Transportation previously approved on July 13th, 2023. This is changing the recipient's name on the letter from, you can see there, Mr. Swara to Mr. Mills, and changing the traffic grant period from 23-24 to federal fiscal year 24-26. Its employment status changes, a job offer declined, resignations, terminations, and 1 employee death as outlined in item G, H, I, J, K, and L respectively.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Commissioner Webster, I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
In favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I am an aye with an abstention to the payment to Thomas and Chandra Jandor.
I'm an aye with an abstention on the payment to UPMC Altoona. The consent agenda is approved with abstentions as noted. We'll begin with staff reports now. And we have Derek Blake with us here from Blair Senior Services Transportation Program. And we welcome him this morning.
Hi, good morning. I'm Derek Flagg from Blair Senior Services, and I'm here today. I'm requesting approval for the fiscal year 23-24 Medical Assistance Transportation Program in the amount of $1,838,294. This is the allocation that we requested, and that's what we were approved for. The MATP program in Blair County last fiscal year served 1,484 unique individuals, and among those individuals, they completed almost 61,000 medical trips. And those trips are anything from people being reimbursed for using the vehicle for transportation to medical appointments, using the Amtram services to medical appointments, and of course, everyone's probably seen our vans, and we also contract with other companies such as MedVan and Health Ride for our out-of-county appointments. We've had folks do appointments all the way from Allegheny County to Lancaster County. And so as people age and get a little older and their medical needs increase, we're seeing the need for specialty treatments, things of that nature, not always available locally, that we do need to transport people to out-of-county appointments. Any questions?
We'll take that to our Thursday business meeting. Thank you very much, Derek.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Item B for tax claim, and Sue St. Martin joins us this morning. Good morning, Sue.
I'm requesting the approval of 3 after-hour access agreements between the County of Blair and Mears and Adams Law Firm, Evie Black Attorneys, and Sullivan Law Offices. The reason for the after-hour access is to complete the title searches that are necessary prior to the judicial sale. We have a total of 95 searches that need to be completed by the end of the year.
Questions for Sue? Again, we've done this in prior years, and it's worked out.
Yes.
I think the only thing to note is that conflict solicitor, I don't know what you want to call him, Attorney Finelli did review these again this year for Sue, as Evie Black is a named participant.
Thank you. I'll take that into Thursday's meeting. Thank you, Sue.
Thank you.
Item C for Human Resources, and Catherine Swigert. Good morning.
So I am here requesting approval of the paperwork for us to have 2 more classes taught by Erin Nygren with Nygren Training Solutions. They're the same Essentials of Supervision that we now have done twice since 2022, and as in what I had submitted, we're fortunate that we actually have more interest than seats in what was scheduled to start this Friday. So the instructor had said that one larger class isn't timely. He can't get through all of the work in a 7.5-hour session, but he would be willing to divide it into 2 classes that will run about a week apart, starting this week through end of February 2024.
And I know that when we sat down in the budget meeting, your budget meeting, we ended up on discussion on this, and we were able to, there's a $200 difference, as I recall.
It's quite small
and
to
we
be
were
able to do
We
it.
were able to find other funds in your budget
Yes.
to cover that, so.
Yes.
I think this has been, very, very valuable for our employees, and, we're reinvesting in them, and for years the county did not do that, and particularly our supervisor, middle management, our directors, I think, coordinators, this has been, a very positive step, and, I know this is something we need to take action on today.
It is, because the class will start, so the final class of the ongoing session ends Thursday, and then the next one starts Friday. So it would be helpful, certainly, for all of the other parts downstream to know that it's approved.
So I would make a motion to approve that. Is there a second?
Commissioner Webster, second.
Are there questions for Catherine on this, or any other discussion? All right, those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Park and Rec Board, Melissa Harpster.
Good morning. The Park and Rec Advisory Board is requesting 2 fund allocations from the reserve account. $200 for the purchase of locks for on the water outlets at the 5 pavilions in the amphitheater, and $100 for the purchase of water sealant to be applied to the restroom walls at Valley View Park.
Questions from Melissa?
No, this is part of the ongoing repairs to keep the park going.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have reached the end of our agenda, and if there are no objections, we're going to adjourn at this time and thank everybody for their participation in this morning's meeting.